I finally got a Tseng ET4000 W32P for the PCI slot. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video where we look at the Tseng ET4000. But it doesn't work. I will show you in a moment what's wrong with this card. I don't think it's going to be a difficult repair, and that's why I decided to bring two other cards into this video. The first one is the Virge DX. I picked this up recently at the Scrapyard and I wrote on it not working. We'll also check what's wrong with this card. And finally, this is a mail-in. We have a Diamond Monster 3D. This card also doesn't seem to work. We are going to have a look at all three of them, what is wrong and what we need to do to fix them. But I think the star of the show today will be the Tseng ET4000. I repaired so many Voodoo 1 cards before, so yeah, that's why I don't want to have just a dedicated video for another Voodoo 1 repair. In many forum posts I read that the Tseng ET4000 and also the Tseng ET6000 are some of the faster cards that you can get for MS-DOS. The card I have here can be equipped with 2 MB of video memory. Right now there's only 1 MB installed, but luckily we have sockets. Let's first see what's wrong with it. Okay, and let's power on. We do get a picture, but we do have an artifact here, a single character that's blinking. Looks like we almost could boot to DOS. Let's go into the BIOS. I think I'm booting from drive A. Oh, the issue is now gone. But now we are stuck on this post screen and the system is frozen. I have to reset the system. Let's go into the BIOS. Oh, okay, so maybe it's a memory issue. This is what I hope it is, because I already inspected the card. I cannot see any scratches, any severed traces, nothing that's obvious. I just hope it's a faulty memory chip. We get again some corrupted image. It looks like it is the BIOS, at least the background of the BIOS, the system BIOS, but we are still partially on the boot screen. That's the state of my Tseng ET4000 W32P. Anyway, let's move on to the next card, which is the Virge DX. Okay, the Virge is in the system. Let's see what we get. Okay, VGA graphics card was not found. This was the beep code. And this is what I got all the time before. So this card is completely dead. Why? I have a suspicion, but for that we have to go under the microscope. So I only want to run Mojo quickly and see if it detects the Diamond Monster 3D. And if it detects it, what kind of issues do we find? Mojo. Oh, it doesn't find any board. I didn't pay attention to the PCI listing right after we finished the BIOS boot procedure. Let's see one more time what we get in that list. And there is no multimedia device here. We only have the display controller. Okay, so this Voodoo 1 is not detected at all. Okay. So, yeah. Maybe it is more interesting than I thought. Let's start with the 3DFX card. Let's jump under the microscope and see what we can find. Today's video is brought to you by PCBWay, the sponsor of this channel and today's video. If you're gearing up for your next project and need a reliable partner, head over to PCBWay.com. You won't be disappointed. They've got you covered with a ton of services, from CNC machining and 3D printing to sheet metal fabrication and injection molding. And when it comes to PCBs, PCBWay handles everything from fabrication to full assembly. Right now, they are running a sweet promo. Score purple PCBs at a steal, normally a premium add-on, for a limited time. Ordering is that simple. Just upload your Gerber files, tweak the details like material, thickness, finish, and that killer purple color, and boom, your batch is off to production. Don't sleep on this. The discounted purple option wraps up at the end of this month. You will find a link to PCBWay.com in the video description. Go check it out and level up your next project. Okay, so the card overall looks really good and clean. So let's just have a look at these 3DFX chips. Let's start with this corner. Okay, so this is what I expected, that there are just a few loose pins, and that is why it is not worth to just make a video about this card, because you have seen me reflow these pins so many times already. I think it's only this right side of our FBI chip. So let me do this quickly, and then yeah, we'll try this card if it's being detected. Okay, I think we are ready to test this card. No voodoo card found. Wow. Okay. Huh. Maybe it is going to be a bigger issue. I changed the PCI slots now. Oh! Unknown PCI device. Okay, well, we get somewhere. That's odd. I changed the PCI slot again. Oh! Multimedia device. Interesting. No voodoo boards found. Let me change the ATI card to something else. Maybe I'll take an S3. Now there's an S3 Trio 64V Plus. Let's see if this makes a difference. Nope. Again, no card detected. That is not good. And I thought this is a quick fix. Well, definitely the pins were loose, but it looks like there are other issues with this card. Oh. Huh. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I think I have to properly clean the PCI connector on this card. Maybe it's also my board. I moved recently. I have no idea, you know, shipping all this old hardware into a new home. Maybe my P2B has an issue, but this is the output that we need. So we got 2 megabytes FBI memory, we got 2 megabytes on the TMU0, and we only have one TMU. Everything looks good, I think. So yeah, we'll test this on the Windows later, but well, gives the sign of life.
One eternity later.
Okay, although I never had issues with faster CPUs in the Voodoo 1 card, I changed now to a Celeron 300. And we post. Let's see, it should be 300 megahertz. Yes. Let's see if it's it's detected. That's good. It's in the PCI slot in the first one right next to the graphics card that never worked before. And it pops up. No issues whatsoever. It looks like all that this Diamond Monster 3D needed was to reflow the pins and clean the PCI connector. But that's it. So I will continue with the next card, which is the S3 Virge. I want to have a look at this one quickly because I had already a look and I think it's exactly the same issue that we had on the Diamond Monster 3D. Okay, so our S3 Virge DX from 1998. And here we only have one chip to worry about, but let's have a look at the pins, just so that we also know that this is not only an issue that affects 3DFX cards, it also affects, there you go. See this pin? So yeah, we have loose pins on Virge cards as well. Oh, this entire row is loose. And this one looks like it's suffering a little bit from corrosion. This card is from the Scrapyard. I found an identical one which works. I wouldn't be surprised if the other one fails at some point. Okay, that's it. Ship is completely reflown. Let's just quickly check if we have solder bridges somewhere. Sometimes I miss them. Okay, S3 is in the system. Let's see if we get a picture. No, we don't. Okay, we have a donor card. So I'm pretty sure these memory chips are compatible, so we'll take them off this card and maybe even the memory sockets. Just in case you're wondering what the temperature was on my hot air station to not melt the plastic, it was 250 degrees. That only works if you have leaded solder. Yeah, and these sockets look really good. Nothing melted. Perfect. Let's get our Tseng ET and remove the memory chips. I think this card doesn't have a post-splash message, but we should have 1 megabyte on our ET4000. Let's have a quick look. Oh wow, that card works. Or does it? My joy was very short-lived. As you can see, the Tseng ET4000 still freezes the system. And I got all the issues that I had before. Random freezes. Even when I went into the BIOS, I got only half the BIOS screen. I never saw this one stuck character that I've seen at the very beginning of this video. But still, the card is very unstable and I couldn't really get DOS to load. And then I turned to AI. To my surprise, I got immediately the answer I was looking for. That the Tseng ET4000, which primarily was used on ISA cards back then, and I also have a couple of them, that this graphics chip has compatibility and stability issues on the PCI bus. The information I got from the AI also referenced some threads on Bogons, including this one. which mentions that the ET4000 is better used on socket 5 boards or earlier. I'm not going to use it on a socket 5 board because I have none of them at the moment that I have tested and that they are known to be working, but I will use them on an early socket 7 board, the Asus P55T2P4 with a Pentium 200. I hope that this makes a difference, and let's see if the ET4000 works on that board. If it does, that would be great. It would be sad because I thought it's a memory issue and most likely it wasn't. Maybe it's just an incompatibility with my P2B from Asus. So these are the two memory chips that were originally on this graphics card. They are now back in the sockets because we added the sockets. At least this is something that I can experiment with easier now. And now let's see if this actually works. Can we boot and load MS-DOS? That's the big question now. Let's hope, because I really would like to have a Tseng ET4000 for the PCI bus, but it's good to know that maybe there is a problem with faster motherboards. Okay. And we're loading DOS, and we are in MS-DOS. Okay, so far so good. This looks okay. Okay, I have never come that far. And SSI seems to be working, and we have all the details, all the diagnostics passed, and we have the Tseng SVGA 1 megabyte with Visa VBE 1.2 loaded, and the system responds. Was this just an incompatibility with a motherboard? Let's try hardware info. Reading data. Yes, it's there. It's detected. And oh, interesting. So I have the video chipset revision D. So that's interesting because I thought revision A to C only have the issues on the PCI bus. This is the information that I got from the AI, that particularly revisions A through C have these compatibility and stability issues. So yeah, maybe revision D is less affected, but it still is affected, as you could see from my experiments here. Now I'm in MS-DOS and I'm running all sorts of tests and the card seems to be stable. But not on my P2B with the Intel 440BX chipset and an Intel Pentium 2 or a Celeron. Let's try PC Player and see if we can get a score at the end of this test. Okay, and this looks really good. It renders the PC Player benchmark. And this is with the original 1 megabyte of memory on the card, so I may not have had to replace the memory chips and put the sockets on this card, but yeah, so here we are. I was fooled by the video output that this card produced. I thought this one character that we've seen initially immediately pointed me to a memory issue, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So we get 20.9 frames per second. Let's go to Windows and check if the Diamond Monster 3D works. Then let's see which resolutions Windows can give us for a 1 megabyte Tseng ET4000. And then we'll upgrade it to 2 megabytes and hopefully unlock some additional resolutions. And that will be the end of this video. Okay, and this should be our Tseng ET4000. Yes. Whoa, okay. Okay, so there is no tab here for our 3DFX card. Let's see if it's being detected by 3D Mark. So what you see on the screen right now is the 2D screen, and we do have artifacts and that does not look good. This is all the 2D card. So here's our Voodoo card with 2 megabytes of memory. We have the total video memory at 2 megabytes and we have the texture memory at 2 megabytes. We are running at 640 by 480 and we do double buffering. And the system is frozen. That is not a good sign. Not responding. Okay. I'll change to an S3 Trio 64V+. That card is definitely working. Yeah, okay, so the Voodoo works. We get low frame rates, so we get around 10 to 15 frames per second. But our Voodoo 1 is working. That's a really nice outcome. At least one card is working perfectly so far. We still have the issue with the Tseng ET4000 that we get artifacts in Windows. I think this is proof that our Voodoo one is working. So yeah, the Unreal Castle Flyby intro is working, and I don't see any issues with the output of the Voodoo card. That's great. All that this Voodoo card needed was to reflow the pins around the 3DFX chips. Will we be able to get 2 out of the 3 cards working? We'll see if changing the memory on this card will improve things. Let's see what happens when we get the drivers loaded in Windows. I would assume we still get the corruption. So yeah, we still get our artifacts, the dots here, and even more. I really wonder if this is our Crontel RAM DAC. Nevertheless, I downloaded some drivers for the Tseng ET4000. No, we still have the same issues. 1 or 2 megabytes doesn't make a difference. We still have the vertical stripes. So yeah, I'm pretty certain that the Diamond Monster 3D is working. Unfortunately, both of my cards that went into the race today are non-functioning. And this is going to be everything I have for you today. Unfortunately, 2 cards out of 3 are not working. The S3 Virge did not show any sign of life even after I tried multiple attempts to get this card to work. Then we have the ET4000, which I really would have loved to get to work, but unfortunately it shows artifacts, is very unstable using more modern motherboards, and yeah, I still can't get these vertical lines out of the picture, and it looks like there are just some problems with this card. It might be this chip from Crontel, but it could also be a passive component on this card. I checked the frequency of this crystal and it checks out at 14.3 megahertz, so that I think is a normal value. And well, that's the end of the debugging session for today at least. And I hope of course that you enjoyed today's video, even if we have 2 failures. So thank you PCBWay for sponsoring this video, and thank you to all my Patreons who are supporting my work already. If you want to become a patron of this channel, please check the video description, there are links that get you to the correct location. And with this, thank you so much for watching, thank you for your time, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, and bye bye.